Let's call the meeting to order. Um, instead of invocation, okay, now let's call the meeting to order. And in lieu of invocation, let's put ourselves in the presence of the Lord and keep a couple of our colleagues, Councilman Stephen Bowden, as well as Councilman Kevin Shealy, and obviously our city and our prayers. Thank you. Thank you. The chair entertains a motion for the approval of February 24th, May 2025 minutes.
Move for approval.
Properly moved in. Anybody gonna second it?
Second. Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Gray. Probably moving second. Any question on those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Request a public hearing, item C, proposed abandonment on a 40-foot portion of Shepherd Street. This sounds a little bit familiar, Ms. Copeland.
It should. This was in real estate. I'm sharing my screen now. There's a 40-foot section here of Shepherd Street that's been floating and remaining for a while now. It's a little paper right of way. We currently have an MOU with the lifestyle community that's building multifamily here. I think it's senior assisted living, as Mayor Cogswell pointed out, in real estate. I'd like to get this committee to sign off on the ability to set a public hearing within the next 40 days to abandon this section and eventually quit claim it to this group so that they can provide access for us to the low line.
What's the pleasure of the committee?
Move for approval.
Second.
Probably moving and second. Just by way of discussion, this was approved unanimous in real estate. Any more discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Copeland. Acceptance and dedication. We're down to item E1, acceptance and dedication of right-of-way and easement. This is for exclusive stormwater drainage easement. Who's gonna handle this one? It's gonna be Mr. Fountain or who?
I certainly can, Mr. Chairman. This is first item is our acceptance and dedication of a drainage easement that will convey public water, does convey public water from the 3030 Maybank project. This is in the area of the Barber Woods project, but not associated with the project. It's water that eventually comes through that area.
Okay. Any question? Can we get a motion on the floor to discuss it?
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor on E1, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. E2, you gonna do all these acceptance and dedication, Mr. Fountain?
I'll handle 2 and 3, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
Mr.
This is
Somerville.
Tim Keene.
E2.
Yeah, 2 is both 2 and 3 are cases where we've had improvements within SCDOT rights of way. And Mr. Chair and committee members, as you know, sometimes SCDOT, oftentimes, they request that we accept maintenance of those improvements. The first one is off of Morrison Drive in the Upper Peninsula, North Romney Street improvements, sidewalk, ramping, retaining wall on North Romney. That's number 2. And number 3 is granite curb associated with the College of Charleston's renovation of the Stern Center on George Street, and then also the granite curb on Cumming Street. So items 2 and 3 are related to us accepting maintenance responsibilities for those improvements that we have requested.
Okay. Any motion? Let's take a motion, if you will, to take items 2 and 3.
Yeah.
All right, properly moved. And
Motion to approve item number 2.
does that include 3?
Let me amend my motion to take to take items 2 and 3 together and to approve items 2 and 3, because we can do that now.
Okay, we get a second of those motions?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. All in favor of taking 2 and 3 together and approval of both? Let's take the together first. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And I think our clerk would like for us that once now we got it together, now let's approve both of them. All in favor of approving both items E2 and 3, please say aye.
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 Okay, we'll do unanimously.
Quick question, Councilmember Waring.
Uh-huh. Council Lady Parker?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know I know the history here. E2, can you explain? I understand the granite curb, but the E2 is just regular concrete. Was there I'm a little late. I mean, I agree with the approval, but I am just curious why DOT can't maintain this one.
I had the same question, council member. So I'll say it's a really good question. We both had it. So I had to reach out to SCDOT on this one. When the apartments that were built there on Foundry Street, and they actually go around to where Romney Street continues north, when that design was approved by the city, we requested, because of the siting of those buildings and the grades that exist there, we required the design to be such that it resulted in some retaining wall and a ramp system there that DOT would not normally take. So that's what really precipitates their request that we maintain it, because we had asked for this design. They normally wouldn't do that. And that's why in this case, we're being asked to maintain those improvements.
Okay, thank you. And you did mention that a little, you did touch on that earlier. Okay, thank you very much.
Anyway, so we passed them both. Item E4, another acceptance, stormwater drainage. Who's going to get E for Mr. Fountain?
Yep, I can take that one, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
So item E4 is the first batch or round of drainage easements we've been able to acquire in Ferguson Village, looking to continue improving the drainage in that community. You probably remember we had done some prior improvements with the Charleston Museum downstream with DOT under Riverland in that area. And now we're working our way through the neighborhood, acquiring drainage easements so we can clean out the ditches and improve the drainage within the neighborhood as well. That's all under the small project allocation work.
Move for approval.
Properly moved, and
Second.
we can start.
And I should mention, Mr. Chairman, these are all gratis easement dedications, so no cost to the city other than taking on the maintenance.
And that's wonderful. I was about to say we're going to start giving bonuses on anybody who issues a second. Again, Mr. Fountain, I want to give you some kudos on that small allocation. We never had that prior to you recommending that. It's actually getting things done, which has a big bang in the community. All in favor of moving E4 forward, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Well, we got a temporary encroachment. Anything out of the norm that needs to be highlighted on this?
Mr. Chair, this is Tim Keene. Nothing unusual here. We've got a few that are installation of irrigation within the right of way, and then a few signs. So that's standard practice for us.
That's just for information. We at the end of the meeting, any miscellaneous things that anybody want to speak to?
Mr. Chairman, we do have one item in the stormwater updates.
Okay, where is it?
Should be on the second page.
Anyway, somehow, not on what I
Mr.
put in.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the next item is the public service, the director's updates.
Okay, well, let's move forward to that then. Thank you. I'll print it off.
Good afternoon. So I just got a couple.
Papa gonna take care of that?
Can you hear?
Who's gonna do the public service? I mean, Mr.
I
Alter.
got you. I'll take care of it for you.
Thank you, Mr. Alter.
Yep. So we've got a couple that we're going to tell you about. Currently working on Rutledge, doing some bluestone repairs, removing some trip hazards from Bull to Bufane, and then we've got a couple contractor working on Wentworth, making repairs to some of them areas as well. We've had some trips and falls, so we're replacing some of the bluestones and fixing that up as well. And then Trident Waste takes over Daniel Island next week. It's been a real struggle here lately, so it's looking forward to having them in place.
I see, uh, Council Lady Parker, your hand want to be recognized?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you, Mr. Altop. I mean, your crews, you have an awesome crew. I mean, they are knocking it out of the park right now. And especially during spring season when everybody's clearing out their yard. I mean, they're they're on it. So thank them, please.
Yes, ma'am, we will do that for you.
And I saw both hands go up from Councilman Gregg. You'd like to have a comment?
Oh, I was clapping. I was
I know. That's what I'm,
really
want to have something to say.
happy to get the new hauler out here on Daniel Island. And well needed.
It's been brutal the last couple weeks, let's just say.
Yeah, I'm looking. They missed some stops this week too, so
We had trucks out there this morning. We'll have some more out there again this week as well to help with some of those issues.
Listen, when we get to trouble spots, seriously, man, I really appreciate the quick response. And I've experienced that with Mr. Alltop myself. So thank you so much for what you and your team do. I've got one or two things that, Madam Clerk, I am at a disadvantage. I didn't print off apparently. I did
There's
2 pages and I should have done 3. So
there's just one item left, and it's the Brittle Bank emergency repair under stormwater.
okay, let's get that, Mr. Fountain, and then I'll see what I had to say toward the end. Mr. Fountain?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this one's an emergency repair authorization for a drainage system that runs through Brittle Bank Park and drains both Brittle Bank Park and Lockwood in the location near the city facilities as Lockwood prepares to bend around and become Fishburne. We had previously done a in-house spot repair trying to resolve this issue. We had hired a contractor to do a second round of more complex repair for about $30,000. Neither of those repairs were successful in resolving the issue, so we're basically forced to line the pipe using a trenchless technology. It's $340,169. It's over 1,000 feet of pipe. Starts at 24-inch and extends up to 36-inch. So any questions on that, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions from committee members? Let's get a motion on the floor, please.
move for approval.
Properly moved. I think I saw the mayor say second. He's on mute.
Second.
Good deal. Let me ask this. Is this something that I know it's line repair. Is this something that might be torn up later on when it comes to Gaston Creek solution? Is something
So
that,
this section, and I can show you a map, Mr. Chairman.
yeah, explain a little bit
Actually,
more what happened. Something caved in or what happened?
This is related to the basically the leakage of what looks like potential leachate material into the waterway through the pipe system. We had done a camera inspection and cleaning. There were a number of more obvious breaks within the old pipe system. Those are the 2 spot repairs that we made. There was some short-term initial improvement, but we basically continued to see leakage because the whole pipe is sitting within an old landfill. This is not Gadsden Creek, it's within the park itself, within Brittle Bank Park.
Okay, clarification.
We're not able to like dig and replace the pipe, so instead we're going to line it trenchlessly, which is much less expensive than digging and replacing inside that landfill facility. So this should resolve the issue by basically putting a new pipe liner within the pipe to prevent any infiltration.
Okay, great. All right, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Now, I want to give some thank you to, well, I wish I could do to everybody, but anyway, Mr. Somerville, I neglected and not thanking you and your team for, we had an issue, Mr. Mayor, you may remember this with out on Wallenberg where a crosswalk that was on a state road that anyway, heavily traveled, in particular with families going to the synagogue during rush hour traffic around about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening, in particular when the days grow short. The lines for that marks the crosswalk just had eroded over the years. It wasn't that. Took so long with the state. And because I think about a couple of years ago, Mr. Somerville asked for our own paint equipment. So he got his folk, went out there, and obviously under emergency situations, and put that had those folk that crosswalk in place. So I mean, it's nothing like when things get done and you got citizens clapping for things that I expect, just like we just did for the trash to be picked up. I mean, just like when you hold your little kid hand and go across a crosswalk, you want the markings to be there. So thanks a lot. That's it should have been, I should have done it last and I didn't, but I want to make, because that's going to come up again someplace else, and maybe another council member, maybe the mayor. But certainly, safety comes first, and we were able to respond. And the second thing I want to do, I want to thank Mr. Keene. We have a gentleman over West Ashley that's trying to build a hotel, and we had some red tape on a parking issue. Trying to get a franchise to come in with their franchise flag, if you will, requires a certain amount of parking spaces. And in our process, that was not being seen clearly. And I shared it, and Mayor and certainly Mr. Keene. And I'd say within about less than a 7-day time, something that has been hung up for months on end has now been dislodged. I thank you highly, Mr. Mayor. And I think Mr. Keene may have dropped off the call, but certainly pass it on to him because, we're trying to revitalize West Ashley. And then when we got private capital coming in to do just that, I know we have rules that have to be followed, but rules create questions, and when questions are answered, hopefully the solution would be close at hand. And that took place in the span of about a week on something that had been a roadblock and gridlock for a good period of time. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you for the process you're putting in place on that. And Mr. Somerville, please tell your team members, congratulate them, and please tell Mr. Keene, job well done. So,
Will do. Appreciate it.
all right, yeah. Any last comments from anybody? Look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow.